Guys, I found something crazy. There's a town that lives underground. Yes, they sleep, they go to church, they even shop underground. Where is this place? Why do they do this? And how do they breathe? For that, we need to go to Australia. Yes, in South Australia, in the outback, there is a town called Coober Pedy.
Hi, Nas Daily.
Welcome to
Coober Pedy.
Here people live inside of rock. They wake up each morning in total darkness because they have no windows. They get dressed using closets carved out of stone. They cook breakfast and then they go to work underground.
Welcome to Amuna Mine Museum. I do tours here.
They shop.
Welcome to our store.
They go to dinner.
I think I'll have the pasta.
And they even pray underground.
This is the Serbian church.
And this is the Anglican Church.
This is insane. They live their whole life underground. But why? Well, it turns out this all started 100 years ago. Miners moved here to dig for opals. But when they got here, it was too hot. Yes, this town is in the outback, and here it gets super, super hot.
It gets so hot you can even fry an egg on the pavement.
When people first moved here, there was no air conditioning, so they had to find other ways to cool their homes. That's when they got the idea to live underground.
Because they've been mining for many years, we know where to dig the tunnels.
So they dug into the hills and tunneled the rock room after room until they finally had
A house!
Then they kept going, house by house, block by block, faster and faster until they built
Our whole town! Coober Pedy has many stories, from first Australians to opal miners to everything in between. It's a place where everybody comes together.
And this underground town is pretty genius because no matter how hot it gets above ground, they can stay cool.
I always love the constant temperature. When it's cool in the winter, it's lovely and warm inside, and very cool in the summer when it's hot outside.
But living this way can also be hard sometimes. There isn't much air underground, so they have to put tiny tubes in the roof to breathe. And if you don't build your home the right way, it could cave in. But even with all these challenges, thousands of people choose to stay and adapt.
I've lived here for 30 years. There's no place I'd rather be. Coober Pedy is like one big family.
This town is so interesting. It's not every day that you see a cave city. So if you want to see what life is like underground, bring a shovel and come to Coober Pedy.
This town belongs to two countries. Yes, there is a line that splits everything in half. The streets, shops, houses, government, taxes, and even the name of the town is split in half. This is the most interesting town in Europe. Welcome to Barl. This is Barl Hertog in Belgium, and this is Barl Nassau in the Netherlands. There are two countries that share the town. And yes, there are two churches, two bus lines, two mailboxes, and even two different beers.
This is Belgium and this is Holland.
This line is the border, and it splits everything in two: shops, buildings, and City Hall.
As you can see, the borderline is running to this boardroom. Now I am in Belgium and I can hop over to the Netherlands.
It even splits houses in half. So, check it out, guys. These are called line houses.
This borderline divides this house through the front door. So that means that side is Belgium, that side is the Netherlands.
Everyone who lives here has to follow the door rule. If your front door is in the Netherlands, you live in the Netherlands. And if your front door is in Belgium, you live in Belgium. But here is the crazy part. You still have to pay taxes for two countries.
If you have a home like this, then you have to pay tax for the square meters you have in Belgium or in the Netherlands.
So we asked the locals, which side is cheaper to live on? And it turns out it's Belgium.
Shopping in the Netherlands is cheaper and living is in Belgium cheaper, so you can choose a bit which one you prefer.
You might be wondering, why is the town like this? Well, let me tell you a story. Turns out, 800 years ago, two guys created this border to separate their land. And centuries later, these land borders became country borders. One town, two countries. This town is still split into two, and they're still living in peace.
All the people together are doing really fun, cool stuff together.
The big idea here is simple. Borders. Most of the world thinks that borders should look like this. Big walls, barbed wire, electric fences, and military guys with guns. But these borders are not inspirational. This little town in Europe shows us how to live in peace, even with different borders, cultures, laws, and taxes. I hope that one day borders go from walls to simple lines on the sidewalk.
This is the most crowded island on the planet. Yes, it's the size of just 2 football fields, and nearly 800 people live there. Where is this place? Why is it so crowded? And how do they all fit? To answer that, we have to go to In Colombia, you can take a boat ride into the Caribbean, and in 1 hour you will see a floating city. Yes, just the ocean and this crowded island. This is Santa Cruz del Islote, the most densely populated island in the world.
La isla tiene una hectárea, mide 10,000 metros cuadrados y viven 816 habitantes.
Every day, all the kids on the island go to just one school. If you want to go out for dinner, there's just one restaurant for all 800 people. If you want to go shopping, there's just 2 shops. And on the entire island, there's only 4 streets. So, no matter what you do or where you go, you will always run into someone you know. Everyone knows each other, like one big family. And it gets crazier, because every day, more than 500 tourists show up. So the island gets even more crowded. But even with all those people, there's 0 cars.
Aquí no tenemos moto porque son muy pequeños, pero a la vez tenemos lancha.
0 police.
Aquí no tenemos policía, aquí no han quitado seguro.
And 0 mosquitoes.
En la isla no hay mosquitos porque no hay árboles y no hay manglar.
This island might sound perfect, but it's not an easy place to live. See, 150 years ago, nobody lived here. But then, fishermen started to take shelter here during storms. They liked island life a lot, so they decided to stay. They moved their families here and they started to build a community. Now, there's about 50 families and 100 houses. But these homes are simple. There's no running water on the island, and there's no electricity grid. So they get their water from the rain.
Aquí recolectamos el agua cuando llueve y de esa nos la bebemos.
And they get about 5 to 6 hours of electricity from these solar panels.
Aquí tenemos luz atrás de unos paneles solar y una planta diésel de 6 de la tarde a 6 de la mañana.
Even though life here isn't always easy, it's a fun place to be. It's full of people and it's full of life.